Hey guys, what's growing? It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm, and today I'm taking care of a whole bunch of little projects. So, sorry I've been AWOL for almost a week. Our entire home HVAC system went down, and it's hot right now. So we've had no air conditioning, and we've been getting lots of teams, so we're getting lots of quotes. Basically, the system is 23 years old. We knew it was going to go at some point, but we had some other big ticket projects on the list ahead of that, like replacing the retaining wall in our backyard here so that we don't get a mud slide into the pool every rainy season. But that's going to obviously be put on hold because we definitely need air conditioning and heat, but more important, we need air filtration. So, you know, it's hot where I live in the summertime, usually in the triple digits. Like today, it's 88 degrees Fahrenheit, 33 Celsius, almost 34 Celsius. And this is a cooler day. And in the wintertime, we do go down into the 20 degrees Fahrenheit at night. So, you know, we do need heat and AC. But more importantly is the air filtration. We have lots of wildfires, as you know, in the West. And without an HVAC system that filters that air, we definitely can't open the windows of the house when we're full of smoke outside. It's not safe, and then there's no way to move the air around inside the house. Even with fans, it becomes very still, and that smoke gets in. So, yeah, I've been spending the last 3 to 4 days meeting with different contractors, getting estimates. We're going to go electric this time because now that we have a solar roof and battery backup, we want to convert as much to electric as possible, which means getting off gas. And so, yeah, as you can imagine, it's very high ticket items, not things that we had planned on spending this year. But when you own a house, and we're very fortunate to do so, that's what happens. So we are making it happen. So today I'm trying to catch up, and tomorrow I'm going to take you out to see something new that's very exciting. So I'll tell you a little bit about that while I am working on this first project. So yesterday when I was watering the houseplants, that's a job that takes a couple of hours because I have a lot of them. So every week I water them, but I switch on and off between just going around and topping them off a little bit. And then on the other weeks, which is what yesterday was, I bring every plant to the sink and it gets a deep water. So when I was doing that, I noticed that this spider plant is growing out the bottom of the pot. So he needs to be up potted. I'm going to go up one size. So we're just going to do basic, you know, repotting, and I'll trim away some stuff. In fact, I might, so you can see here, there are 2 plants here. I might separate those if they come apart easily and pot one in this and then repot the other back in this smaller pot. So then I'll have 2 additional spider plants. So I will move the camera so you can watch me do that, but I will explain to you about what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Okay, so if you've been here a while, you know that I started renting the farm spot where the flower farm currently is back in February of last year. And when I rented the plot, it had been abandoned for quite some time. And wow, look at that. I mean, there's hardly any soil left. So no wonder when I watered it, water just ran through. All right, I'm going to try to gently tease this apart. Okay, so I had to do a lot of work in order to get that property to where it is now so that I could actually grow there. And I will link below the video of the first day that I signed the lease so that you could see what it looked like before I started basically renovating it. If you've been following for a while, you also know that it's been a rough ride out there. Between losing my entire summer and fall crop to deer last year, which was absolutely my fault for not getting something up in time, to having the stress of being told that the property was going to sell right when I needed to be planting for spring, and having to do a major runaround to find a workaround to that, to having lots of theft. Even this week, there was an abandoned car with used syringes and a lot of stolen items in it, including stuff from my greenhouse, sitting at the gate when I pulled up on Monday to harvest, and the police were there and interviewed me, and I don't know what's going to come of that. Thankfully, nothing. I don't keep anything important there anymore, so it was like stuff that got stolen from me was real basic stuff, irrigation stuff, tubing and stuff, whichever. Anyway, no tools, nothing of value. I am not going to be able to separate this cleanly without really hurting the plant, so I'm just going to put the whole thing into the new pot. Okay, so yeah, it's been a really rough road out there. I don't feel safe. Ever since I started working out there, I constantly have people come off the highway and drive in, even though there's a closed private property sign there, come in and ask me questions. I'm always out there by myself, so I just don't feel safe, especially because a lot of those people are older white men. Not that I have anything against white men, obviously, I'm married to one, but I don't understand why these guys think it's okay to walk up in the middle of nowhere, basically, with no one else around, to a lone woman who's clearly working. I have my earphones in, I'm like working, to just kind of chat. Oh, so what's going on here? And, what do you do? And all this kind of, like, I'm not here to, this is not a public place. This is not it's not open to the public. And, yeah, so anyway, definitely makes me feel unsafe. So, I have been looking for a long time because my lease there is up in January, and I actually have already prepaid 4 months of rent. So I'm good to go for a while. I've been looking for a new spot, something that's closer to my house, something with better weather that's not fogged in all the time. I mean, that area is right up against what's called the Caldecott Tunnel, the Berkeley Hills, and in the fog area. So it gets fog most of the year, which while it feels nice and it can keep things cool, it also means hardly any sun. So I've been struggling with that, especially this year. Last year wasn't so much an issue because it was a La Nina year and there was a lot less moisture in the air. But this year it's been rough, and that's why everything was so far behind this year, because I just was not getting much sun. So I've been looking for a place that will give me all the things that I need: security, things more off the beaten path, away from the freeway so that people can't just drive up and start chatting. A better tenant situation, and a larger space that has less invasive weed situation going on. So I've been looking for a long time, and over the last couple of months, I think I have found a location, and have been working closely with the landowners to work out something. So it's still not written in stone, and I'm a little anxious about just even mentioning it right now, because it's not yet written in stone. But the area that I want to do this is nice and big. It's almost a 1/4 acre, which is roughly 4 times the size of what I have now. And the only real sticking point is that there's no water. And as you might imagine, no water in a place for irrigation in a place that doesn't get rain for about 8 months is not going to work for a farm. So I have done a whole lot of research, and I think I may have a solution in rainwater capture using an old method, very old method, that people in desert areas use to get irrigation water. But it definitely is going to raise the cost for me moving to this location. So moving the farm is not a small undertaking. There are lots of costs involved. There's ground prep. I'm going to have to rent some machines. I have to buy in a bunch of compost, more than I would normally do at this time. If I was staying at the current place, I wouldn't have to buy very much at all because I would just be topping off the beds. But in this situation, I'm building new beds out of the virgin soil, which is, I haven't soil tested yet, but looks pretty good. So there's a lot of costs involved, just the moving itself. I also have to figure out what I'm going to do about the high tunnel, the hoop house, because not all of that is mine. So a bunch of those hoops are actually the landowner's hoops at the farm that were abandoned from a previous, I don't know if it was from whoever used to have the spot that I'm in now and used it as a nursery. And we refurbished them to use them when I constructed the high tunnel. And then we only had to build 2 of our own. So, taking an entire high tunnel apart and reassembling it is no easy task, having already done that once. So, lots and lots of stuff to consider and weigh. But I feel like the pluses really outweigh the minuses. And just having more space to grow means a lot for the business. And that's very exciting. Ultimately, my dream is to have my own property where we live on it and we grow on it. Yes, I grow on my current property, but it's 1,200 square feet of growing space, and I need a lot more than that to run a flower farm. So that's been a stressful thing, a stressful but exciting thing weighing on me for months now. And I have learned a lot from the way I experienced this first rental situation, and I've learned a lot of lessons. The things that I want in a lease, the things that are important to me, things I should not ever negotiate on, things that I won't back down on, all of that stuff. So it's been a good lesson, very expensive lesson at times, but that's life, that's how it goes. So tomorrow I'm going to go out to this new site because what I need to do is measure with a tape measure. I have paced it off, but my pacing is not what it used to be when I was an archaeologist, and used pacing to do most of my measurement for just digging shovel tests. It's not very accurate anymore, so I need to go out and measure with a tape measure, see where I can put the water capture system that I'm hoping to use or create. See where I can put the pump that I'm going to need in this system, and try to estimate how many beds, how they might be oriented, all that kind of stuff, because in the beginning of September, first week of September, is when I start all of my seed starting for spring. So fall planting in October, seed starting in September for spring growth. And if I have a whole new layout, then I need to draw a whole new map and know how much bed feet space I have and know how many seats to start. So there's a lot of dominoes that are lined up, and I need to make sure that they all fall appropriately. Since I'm going to be drying these for the most part, I am going to bring them inside to enjoy them in a vase for a short time, and then I will hang them to dry them. There are a lot of them. Yeah, and they smell so good. Kind of like honey. It's crazy. So that's what's been going on. That's why I've kind of been MIA. We also had our vehicle broken into in our driveway and rifled through, and so we had to have the cops come out, and we're dealing with that. So there's just been a lot, but nothing bad. Everybody's healthy, other than me starting to feel very sad about Dylan going away to college, which is, I know, totally normal, but oh boy, am I going to miss him. Everything's good. So, oh, look at that. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? All right, I'm gonna cut these stems, get these guys into water. It's probably gonna explode out once I put it in here though. Yeah, it's not gonna be as tidy, but still pretty beautiful. And I have a few more to cut. So I keep telling myself, just keep swimming. And that's what we're doing. I'm just gonna keep swimming. We're going to find a good way to fix our HVAC issue. Oh, and my folks are coming next week to visit, which is great, but also it's a little rough because we don't have any air conditioning and it's gonna be hot. So that's also a bit stressful. But worst case scenario, we can put them up in a hotel so that they don't roast. They live in Florida, so they are used to heat, but they are also in their mid and late 70s, and heat's just not good for people, especially when you're older. So we may have to make some changes. So the long and short of it is I'm, trying to get some gardening chores done. I'm trying to make sure that I'm doing all the farm stuff I need to be doing. Although I gotta be honest, it's been real hard to stay focused out at the current farm site because my brain wants to be elsewhere at a new location. So it's been hard to keep up with my chores out there because I have that I'm not going to be here anyway, which I don't know is the case yet. I'm just hoping that it will be the case. There we go. Look at that. Those hydrangeas, and look at the color. That green and pink. Oh, they're so pretty. Yeah, we're just gonna enjoy those inside while they dry, in this vase, and then I'll turn them upside down and we'll dry them. These super huge ones are gonna be tough to do anything with, but the small ones actually can work really great as dried flowers on some of my fall projects. Next job, so this is just a hot mess. It needs to be all trimmed back. Even though the sunflowers are still blooming, they're the petals are diseased and everything, so I'm gonna give all this a big haircut so that it looks a little more tidy. Like I said, my folks are coming next week and I want the gardens to look really nice. They haven't been here in 2 years, and so I'd really like for them to be able to see, actually more than that, it was before the pandemic. So I'd really like them to see how things have changed. Well, that looks a whole lot better. Didn't even take that much. I'm not going to give these lavender a haircut yet because, as you can see, there's still plenty of purple flowers on them. So I'm going to leave those. And there's one more stem of yarrow here that hasn't bloomed yet. I dry these and use them as dry flowers, and I need this color. So I'm going to leave this one till it's ready. But it did make me realize there are some holes. So I'm going to go to after we go to the new location tomorrow, we'll stop at the nursery on the way home, and I'll pick up some more ground cover for where we're missing some things. And I also am going to pick up something to go back here, which I have been intending to do, but while I had the sunflowers, it didn't matter. So I want to put something right there that'll be, big, maybe come up to here, to the windowsill, and fill in that area. But in the meantime, the tomatoes are just everywhere, and I'm trying to tie them up as best I can, but they're so heavy, so they keep falling over. But I wanted to show you this dahlia, which has been in this pot for many, many years, and I keep digging deep every time I plant tulips to try to pull it up, but I never can find it. This is the first year that it's actually given me flowers, and they're really pretty. Look at that. Now, I might be able to figure out what the variety is, but I mean, it was so many years ago that I planted it and it never did anything, and then the next year it came back just as a plant, no flowers, but probably the healthiest dahlia I own at this point. Okay, gonna take an inventory here. Everything looks really droopy because it's hot and it's tired at this time of day, but I'm gonna see if there's anything big I need to purchase to fill in some holes. And I can see a spot right here where something could go. This needs to get cut back. Basically, I'm going to come in here and clean up this entire bed. So these flowers on this germander are just about finished. There's a little moth on that one. I will come in and give these guys a haircut. There's some verbena back there that I've already trimmed, but I have still some spots in here that I could pop some things in. Only tall stuff needs to go in the back, but there's some dead things. Those need to come out. So tomorrow at the nursery, we'll grab a few things so that I can fill in here. And then this whole bed is going to get trimmed. All of these need to come off because they're done. And I want to get the Dusty Miller back down to a good size. There's a couple holes in the back here. Look at those fava beans. Aren't they great? So, some of this dusty, the lower leaves are looking terrible, so I'll just cut it way back. And we've got some more holes up here. This area doesn't get a whole lot of water, and so I need to supplement water and also find some drought tolerant things here. But mostly I just want to clean up this bed, get the dead stuff out, put some fall stuff in, even if it's just annuals, to make it look nice for the next couple months. Also, over the next couple days, I need to do a major prune on the roses again. Now, depending on where you live, it's not a good time of year to be pruning shrubs and roses and things like that. This late in the summer, if you are in a lower zone, I'm in 9B, if you're in a lower zone, you're getting closer to your frost date, and it's not a good idea to prune things because, like we've said before, when you prune stuff, you tell the plant to send out new growth. And so if you prune, let's say I'm in zone 7 or even 8 maybe, and I prune those roses right now, they will put on new growth, but then will most likely get hit by frost and it could kill part of the plant because that's all fresh new growth. So it's really better to wait. Normally I prune my roses in January, right around Super Bowl time, just because that helps me remember. And for us in this zone, we're pretty safe because normally our frosts are done by mid-February. However, the last 2 years we had frost in April, so you never can tell. But I'm pretty sure that pruning now, just to clean it up and tie up some more of those canes, will be totally fine because it is the end of August and we don't usually get early frosts. We just tend to get late frosts, and our first frost really isn't supposed to be till December 25th, but it pretty much always comes in mid-November. So I'm using that as my time frame, and they should be good. They will put on new growth, but that new growth will be hardened and ready for frost when it comes. So tomorrow there's a number of things on tap. We are going to go out to the potential new farm in the morning and get some measurements done, and so that I can start planning for all of that. And then on the way back, we'll stop at the nursery and pick up some stuff for the cottage garden and also for this side bed here that we just cleaned up. And then I need to come and fix 2 pretty big leaks in the irrigation in the front garden, and where it's leaking, it's eroding stuff underneath the gate of the chicken run, and so there's a gap there now that needs to be filled in. So I need to put a 4x4 in there, I believe, at this point. Maybe a 2x4 will work, but I think I might have to dig out, put a 4x4 in. So all of that needs to get done tomorrow. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden. I'll see you in the next one.